sexy brain. You should never leave home without your sexy brain. I'm Dr. Lindsey Berkson, and I've just written a new book that's going to launch soon, and it's all about a sexy brain, why nature wants you to have it, and how it makes you a better, healthier person, parent, mate. Never leave home without your sexy brain. Why did I even write this book? I've been known for writing books on hormones, endocrine disruption, which is environmental pollutants, and the environment, the digestive tract. Why in the world? I never imagined I would be writing a book on intimacy. But I was asked a few years ago by a urologist and a number of surgeons and doctors to help co-write a book that they were going to use in their new growing 100 erectile dysfunction clinics. They'd heard I write books about hormones, so they wanted me to contribute and put this book and help them make a mesmerizing book for the patients waiting in the waiting room. So I said, all right, and I started doing the due diligence and poking around to see what I could find, and I was stunned. For example, there was an observational trial from the Women's Health Initiative, which was put together by 40 different prestigious institutions looking at, well, we got a whole bunch of aging women in the United States. It's a robustly growing demographic. How are we not going to topple Medicare? How do we keep this group of American citizens well? And they looked at every which way of aging. They looked at heart disease, they looked at hormones, they looked at bone disease, but then they had this huge study on intimacy. And they pretty much, if you were to explain in English the study, took a look at these women and said, if you could look back on your lifetime and say, what was the quality, 0 to 10, of your intimacy with your mate? Please share that with us. And then they studied the heart health of these women. They did studies of the intimal, the most intimate lining of their blood capillaries. They took a history of their adverse cardiac events. And what they discovered, and this was over 100,000 women, and it was over a decade, almost 14 years. This is a lot of women and a lot of time. That the more a woman could say, as I look back over my lifetime, with a monogamous mate that I respect and love, I've had really satisfying sex, that they had healthier blood vessels, healthier endothelial lining, which is where the rubber meets the road with your heart health. That's the intimate lining of your blood vessels. Although it wasn't translated into adverse events, they had healthier blood vessels than if they did anything else. If they exercised, if they ate veggies, if they were on statins. I mean, intimacy is like this incredible heart health factor. This just blew my mind because so many women and males come into my office and say, I'm kind of done with intimacy, or it's not happening for me. And you might think these are people in menopause and andropause, but it's not. These are people who are young. Our intimacy is being under assault in our modern environment. We don't want it as much. We don't know how to do it as much. We have guilt from not anyone telling us that we need to have it, should have it, and how to have it. Just like you can't sit down in front of a piano and long to be a virtuoso piano player and then suddenly play, it's really the same with phenomenal connecting and health boosting and heart boosting sex. We think if we meet the right one, our socks will roll up and down and it'll be fantastic. And it is in the limerence period where it's just, phenomenal and it's more lusty, but that doesn't contain and endure unless you really know what you're doing and why you would even want to continue to do that. So I was blown away by this book and realized, I never thought I would want to write a book on intimacy. It's almost kind of embarrassing to say, at least historically, that you would be writing a book on sex, but it turns out that great sex is a pillar of health, just up there with veggies and exercise. So stay tuned for Sexy Brain, and you're going to learn why you shouldn't leave home without it. This is Dr. Lindsey Berkson. I have written 19 books. I have Sexy Brain launching in February, and then I have Nutritional Gastroenterology launching after that. I was a hormone scholar at Tulane University, and I think I have a number of things that might really help you have a much better life and leave your home with your credit cards and your sexy brain. Bye.